seven skies. So what would khalaqa be?
Oh, created, not
There
guided.
you go. Yeah,
Yes.
so there you go, right? So that's why waiting. I'm like, okay, let him read forward, and then he'll figure out. Okay, great.
أنعامهم, the cattle, وأنفسهم, themselves, and themselves. أفلا, then do not. يبصرون, they see.
Okay, perfect. Mashallah. Okay, Sister Sumaya, what do you think?
كلما أرادوا أن يخرجوا, anytime they desire to leave it.
Okay, very good.
كذابنا.
Sorry, what is Nadir?
Oh, warner.
Warner, very good. Yes, Warner. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa sallam. Hopefully everybody is doing great. Any questions, comments before we start? We'll be doing something different. I'll be sharing with you for the last 5 days of the course. We'll try something different, go deep. Before I tell you about that, any questions? Awesome. All right, so we'll be starting Surat Mulk. That's one. It has 30 verses. We have 5 days. So we'll just do 6 verses per day, right? So we won't, I think in general, we have been averaging around 10 plus verses now for the last week or two. So we'll just come back to 6 verses, spend some time on reflection as well. Hopefully more of you can participate. I do want to get you guys to see about reflections, tadabbur, extracting relevant action points as well, as we do these 6 verses per session. And then hopefully we'll have like good 15 to 20 minutes of practice time. So within the class time, we'll start practicing these 6 verses every day within the class time. So hopefully as you interact within the group, and keep repeating those words. Even if someone else is reading it and you're waiting for your turn, make sure that you're not just toned out or zoned out. You're actually participating and thinking about the meaning of that word or the words. So that will help you build that connection. And hopefully within these 5 sessions, you will have a pretty good relationship with the words, because we'll do like a good amount of practice within the sessions of 15, 20 minutes every day for the next 5 days. I think that will have great results, inshallah. Okay, so with that, let's just get into it. And now we can even take a look at related words and what have you, because we want to have like, we don't want to go fast. We want to go slow, but build a higher level of connection. So even I might just, actually hide it like this. Okay, so starting off, tabaraka, right? So I'm thinking about it. And you don't necessarily have to think about word or have you, just have to start thinking about how you can get it close to a meaning, okay? So even if it's broken meanings, that's fine. As you construct a sentences, it will become, it will start formulating. One sec, check something. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so tabaraka, baraka, right? So that's how you will probably think about it. You'll say, okay, barakaf, the root letters, what do I know from this? Maybe, hopefully, you will lead to barakallahu fikum, baraka, what have you, which is the meaning of blessing. So tabaraka, blessed is, alladhi, the one who. Now, alladhi we have seen so many times. Hopefully, you don't have to think about it, and it's just a connection. The one who, biyadihi. Okay, so when you think about it, bi, in, yad, hand, he, his, biyadihi, in his hand. Okay, so even as we are doing it, try to say it out within yourself. Biyadihi, in his hand, biyadihi, in his hand, biyadihi, in his hands, in his hand. Al-mulku, the kingdom, the dominion. Mulk, the kingdom, the dominion. Wa huwa, and he, ala. Okay, now this is a very repeated phrase. Ala kulli shay'in qadir. Ala is upon, kulli is every, shay'in thing, qadir, all able. So, tabaraka alladhi biyadihi al-mulku wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Okay, so if you think about it, blessed is the one, in his hand is the dominion, and he is upon everything, all powerful, all able. Okay, continuing on, again, you have alladhi, that's a repetition. The one who, khalaqa, we have seen several times, he created. خلق, he created الموت والحياة, the death and the life. The death and the life. Okay, now we have something bigger. Let's go into it. Li means for. Okay, the li is a preposition which means for. So this tells you the purpose of something. Li. So for example, you would say fi sabi lillah, right? So that li is in the way of Allah, in the path of Allah. Alhamdu lillah. All the praises for Allah. So li for yabluwakum. Okay, so you have ba lam waw from bala, which means to test. He may test kum, you all, right? Kum is a pronoun that we have seen several times. Assalamu alaikum liyabluwakum, so that he may test you all. Ayyukum, ay, which, kum, you all. Ayyukum, which of you, ahsan, best. Ahsan, best. Amala, in action. Okay, and then you have the last phrase, وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْغَفُورُ. And he is Al-Aziz, Almighty, all forgiving, or of forgiving. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, Alladhi, again, khalaqa, he created. Now it's sab'a samawat. So samawat, we know, we have seen the singular form sama. Samawat is the plural form, and sab'a means seven. He is the one who created the seven heavens. Tibaqa is a new word, which means one over the other. One over the other. Tibaqa, ma, not, tara, you see, tara, you see, fi, in, khalqir rahmani. So we just saw the word khalaqa, right? So khalaqa, he created. Khalq is the noun of that verb, creation. Khalqir rahmani, creation of the most merciful, most gracious. Min, any. Tafawud is a new word, fault. Tafawud, fault. You don't see any fault in the creation of Ar-Rahman. Farji'. So I think we probably talked about this yesterday, either publicly or in the group. And this is the root letters we were thinking about. Ra, jim, ayn. This is to return. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Okay. Farji', to return. Al-basara, the vision. Hal, do you, tara, see, min, any, futur, flaw. Okay, so now we see two words that are similar, tafawud and futur. Okay, flaw or fault. So look again, return your sight again. Do you see any flaw, any fault? Okay, thumma then irji', again, same thing. Farji', irji', same word. Return al-basara, the vision, karratain. Once again, karratain, once again, once again. Yanqalib, okay, qaf, lam, ba. This also has the meaning of returning or coming back, turning back. Yanqalib, it also are the root letters for the word heart, because it goes like in and out, right? It's going out and coming in, back in, returning, turning, moving around, turning around, or beating around. Yanqalib, will return. Ilayka, to you, al-basaru, the vision, khasi'an, khasi'an, humbled, wa huwa, while it is hasir, tired, fatigued, exhausted. Okay, so the basar will return to you. Quick observation here, especially for memorization students. Look, irji'il basara, in this situation, this is the basar, the sight is the object. Right? You return the sight, you return the vision, you look again. So it's an object, that's why it's ending in a fatha. Here it's a subject, it's the doer. The basar will return to you, the sight will return to you, hence it's ending with a dhamma. Waiting a few seconds in case you want to think about it or ask any questions before we go on.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Maniz.
Wahuwa, is it content? Because sometimes it's he and sometimes it's a while.
No, yes, so it is he. Okay, so what's happening is, okay, so basically you can translate as he, right? So look at this. I mean, in this scenario, it wouldn't be he. Okay, first of all, stepping back, what is this huwa pointing to?
What is pointing to?
Yeah, what's the noun that this pronoun is referring to?
Vision.
Vision.
Good. Okay, so you can say it, because obviously you wouldn't use he in English language. So it is tired, it is exhausted, So if you just say, and it is exhausted, that's fine. But what's happening just from a grammatical perspective, it says it's describing the state of the vision, right? That it has become exhausted, it has become tired. So that's why they are in a sentence structure, it's more appropriate to say while it is tired. However, even if you don't do that, that's fine, because look, so return your sight, it will return back to you while it is tired. So I mean, it will return back to you and it is tired. It will return back to you and it is tired. No worries.
Okay. Thanks.
But there is a, like, if you go into the grammatical state and whatnot, it has this notion that it's describing the state of something when it comes in that structure, right? But again, you don't have to worry about it. You can just say, and it is tired. Okay, two more. Walaqad, and certainly. Zayyanna, we beautified. From Zayyanun, we beautified, we adorned, we beautified. As-samaa. See, again, here's an object, that's why it's ending in a fatha. We have beautified, we have certainly beautified the heaven, ad-dunya, of the nearest heaven, right? Sama ad-dunya. So dunya has a meaning of something that's near. So we have we have beautified the heaven of the nearest heaven, the heaven closest to you guys, to the earth. Bi masabiha, that's a new word. Bi is with, masabih from sad baha, lamps. Lamps. Okay, so we have placed or beautified the heaven with the lamps, meaning the stars. وَجَعَلْنَاهَا, and we have made them, right? Literally, we have made her. وَجَعَلْنَاهَا, we have made her, meaning the masabih, meaning the lamps. Rujuman. Okay, so this means as missiles, right? From ra, jim, mim. So that's the same thing that when we say A'udhu billahi minash shaitani ar-rajim, because he has been thrown out, he has been casted out. So it has that meaning of something thrown at, something casted out. Rujuman, as missiles. Lishayatin, for the devils. Li, again, we just talked about it a while ago. Lishayatin, for the devils, for the shayatin. Wa'a'tadna, that's probably a new word. A'tadna, to prepare. Wa'a'tadna, we have prepared lahum, for them, adhaba, the punishment, as-sa'ir, of blaze. I think we have seen sa'ir before. Okay, just pausing here for a sec in case you want to talk about anything.
Yeah. I have, I think, 4 questions.
4 questions. Okay, let's go. 25 cents each.
Okay. The first one, lakad, there's also kad and inna. All of them seems like they mean the same.
Correct.
So it's is there any way as memorization know like when not to use it?
Or no, so from a translation perspective, from Arabic to English, you would always translate it as definitely or certainly and what have you,
Yes.
right?
Right. But
Yes.
memorization, is there a way to kind of like
Not that I know of, no.
okay. Now the other one was bimasabiha. Isn't that also root word for sabiha? Morning, I think.
It is, yes, it is correct.
Okay.
So you can make that connection, right? What happens in morning? Morning, you have light, so lamps give you light.
So, and the other question I had, the lead thing, like sometimes the lam is, I feel like it's 2, 4, it has different meanings. Is it also related to what's going on in the ayat, or is there a way to know that what it should be?
Yes, so all prepositions, right? All these prepositions, including the li, right? Including the be as well, right? That would also depend on the translating language, the language that you're translating into, right? Because certain structure with the verb form or with the noun form, it would only make sense with that particular translation, depending on what's going on.
Because I think there's one which changes the kasra for the next word.
Yes, the lam itself, right? Why is it shayatini? Is because of this li. So
Li.
all preposition, so this is called prepositions, right? Or in Arabic, you would call it jar. They are called harf jar, right? Which means prepositions. So what happens is that whatever this preposition is attached to, it would end with, usually with a kasra. Would end with a kasra or a kasra like. So that's why we say a'udhu billahi. And it's not Allahu, it's not Allah, it is billahi because of that preposition, right? Where else? So here as well, it is see, it says jar here, right? So it is a preposition and it makes it in that state. However, it's not visible because of some other reason. But yeah, mostly you would see it ending as a kasra.
And then the skies, there's like one with the plural and one's not. The one with the Zaina Sama is the one which is the lowest sky, it means, technically. No?
Well, the reason it's lowest sky is because of this ad-dunya.
Right. But usually when it comes like this form, it just means the first layer, right?
I don't know about that. It could be, but I don't know. I don't recall if that's a rule or principle. I don't know. It could be, but I just don't.
Because there's two, samawat is plural, right? Or no?
Yes, it is plural, yes.
Okay, so that's why I thought that the one in this sentence is referring to just the first layer, and the sawatin from the third ayah means all the layers of
Yes. So
sky.
I know sama is singular, but does that always imply first layer? I don't know. The reason I think it's saying first layer is because of the connection with dunya. It could be, I just don't recall or don't remember at this point that maybe a sama is always for the first layer. It is what's possible.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Mhm.
Okay, all right. Last one. وَلِلَّذِينَ. Okay, so wa lil, for those. So again, see, li is for, right? وَلِلَّذِينَ, and for those who kafaru, they have disbelieved, bi rabbihim, in their Lord. Be in Rabb, Lord, him, there, in their Lord. Adhabu jahannama, they have the punishment of the hellfire. Punishment of the hellfire. Wa bi'sa, and how evil or how wretched is al-masir, the destination. So this is probably the two new words. Bi'sa al-masir, evil is the destination, wretched is the destination. Okay, now let's do some reflection. I want to engage you guys and get you guys to do the reflection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this mode here and we'll pick Surat al-Mulk. Where is it?
67.
67, right here. Okay, so that gets to 67. We close this. We'll turn on one translation. Which language should we look at? Chinese? I'm gonna take this. Okay, so you have the first 6 verses here, okay? So let's see our reflection question. So first, we'll just focus on first reflection question for all these 6 verses, and anyone can share anything. Where is my reflection question? Here. Okay, all right. Okay, what do I learn about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from these verses? Okay, so you can take a look at any, and then again, not say, oh, he's all forgiving, but let's try to phrase it in a way that how can I benefit from it, right? In an emotional or action oriented way. Okay, now I'll share mine later, but I want you guys to start with.
The first thing that comes to mind, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The first thing that comes to mind is that Allah created us to test us.
Mm-hmm.
That's, that's in there. And that he has control over everything that he created in the heavens and the earth.
Okay, so that's good, not right? So how do you, so imagine if I am thinking about that, how does that empower me, right? So let's connect it to something like a practical thought as well. right? How does it?
Well, for me, then that means that for everything that I am doing alive, I have to remind myself that it's a test from Allah, whether it's a good thing or it's a bad thing, and how am I going to conduct myself so that I return to Him with a clean slate.
Beautiful. Okay, great. Yes. So now you are, whatever is happening to you in your life, you're looking at it from the lens of it's the test, right? You're not thinking, because someone else could then be thinking about, oh, maybe Allah doesn't like me, or that's why this is happening to me, or Allah is not rewarding me, right? All the other thoughts that people have about Allah, which are contradictory to the realities. Okay, awesome. Who else would like to share something?
Assalamu
Alaikum.
I think with this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes an announcement as to his greatness and authority. And he has all of the authority, and it's incumbent upon me to submit to the authority, because he says he creates death. He has power over all things. He gives examples of his power and asks us, are we paying attention? Can't you see this? Don't you recognize this? Maybe not understand, but everything that is good that's going to happen is by recognizing the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Okay, beautiful. Jazakallah khairan. Who else?
Two things I noticed was that Allah could have made things simple, boring for us, but He didn't. Like the lower sky, He made it beautiful for us. You know, we have vegetables, food, different kind. He could have made it so, like, boring for us, but Allah didn't, so that we can appreciate. He's a kind God. He cares about us. It's not just, in a box that, oh, you're going to have just this, simple food or no taste or anything. But He gave us pleasure in everything. That I thought interesting. And the other point I thought was kind of, Allah didn't mention His name in the beginning. He mentioned really His attributes. So it's kind of interesting that the surah started that way. Like if you look at the beginning ayat, it's just attributes, not His name directly.
Okay, very good. Mashallah. Okay, anybody else?
Alaikum.
Alaikum
Alaikum.
salam.
I was going to say that I was thinking about the fact that Allah challenges you to look around in the beauty of creation and see if there's any flaws, because we're constantly looking out and trying to figure these things out. What are these things all around us? And they are blowing us away. Even like the cellular structure. So it's a challenge to look around, to be scientific.
Interesting, right? Yeah, and this is very interesting, right? Because especially when you build something complex, the chances of failures are a lot, right? I mean, we just saw what happened this past weekend, and incidentally, I've been working with that company, CrowdStrike, and it's just like that thing. You create a software, and you have one glitch, and it can basically take down systems, right? So that notion of Allah actually saying, yeah, you know what, find a fault in the creation, or even to the point of saying that, okay, you know what, if this book was not from your Lord, you'll find contradictions in it. Go ahead and find it. So that's a very good point. Jazakallah khairan. Okay, anybody else? Jahannam breeds. Oh, that's for tomorrow, Kelvin. You're ahead of us. And also we are focusing on, that's a good point, but we are focusing on the attributes of Allah. Okay, let me take a quick pass at it. And I think you guys mentioned a lot of great points that I haven't thought about. So that's always good, right? Because we're not saying that this is the only meaning from this ayah. Because the question more about it, like as I think about it, what is it reminding me of in my life today, right? So for example, I think, was it Muniz, like she was appreciating the variety and diversity of different things in life, and how Allah is keeping it entertaining and fun, and full of surprises and variety and diversity. And that is a part of the mercy of Allah to provide us with all these different varieties, right? Someone pointing out about the creation and the challenge there, and so on and so forth. Oh yes, Okay, yeah, we're gonna come to that as well in a second, Rashida. Good point there. Okay, so just focusing on the attribute for now. So see, yeah, when I start off here, so it reminds me of barakah, right? How Allah is blessed. So practically speaking, for me, it's a reminder that, look, with this divine assistance and with Allah by my side, I can dream big. I don't have to think about 2 + 2 = 4, right? I can think about 2 + 2 can become 2.2 million, right? And also realizing that sometime, for example, if I just do my calculation, it might seem like, oh, you know what? If I do this, I take like financing based on interest, or I do this haram trade, or I maybe gamble, or I sell alcohol, may Allah protect us, then maybe I can make money. But then this is reminding me, look, if you do things, if you trade, if you do business, if you conduct your affairs according to the Sharia and the boundaries of Allah, you will have divine assistance. You can have divine assistance, and you will have, at the very least, you will have blessings. Right? Even if the actual numbers may not make sense, you will have blessings. Right? Blessings is what's like magnify your life, magnify your family, magnify your wealth and your health, and so on and so forth. But the second point being that Allah has all the dominion, right? In His hand is all the power, all the kingdom, all the dominion. So that practically would encourage me that, hey, am I asking Allah? Am I consistent in my hope? Right? Because sometimes we have hope from other human beings. Oh, this guy will give me this much money, or this much investment, or this opportunity, or he will do this for me, or she will do this for me. But what about Allah? Do I have hope from Allah? Am I asking Allah? Am I longing and thinking to receive blessings and opportunities and success from Allah or other people? And lastly, the point about that Allah is able to do all things, right? So sometimes we lose hope because we can't see a way, right? Whether it be a health situation, we may say, oh, I can't find a way. The doctors don't know how to do this. This person is sick, this and that. But this reminder, look, Allah is able to do all things. So don't be limited. Don't be limited. Okay. Yes. So the second point here, again, just focusing on the attributes, is about that no one can defeat Allah. If Allah wants something, it will happen. And if Allah doesn't want something, it won't happen. And the last point being here that, okay, look, if you make a mistake, don't lose hope. Go back to Allah. Do not run away from Allah, but go to Allah, as He is all forgiving. Okay, and then the third verse is primarily about design and perfection of Allah and appreciating the design, because many times we just take it for granted what Allah has created. Okay, so that's regarding the names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, let's talk about the topic of mindset, right? I think who started first? Forgot. But yeah, someone already kind of started us off mindset about seeing how, the life is a test. Everything that happens to us is a test. So that's one thing about mindset. What other things can you think about from a mindset perspective? I've seen some of you have already mentioned it, but now let's just talk about it quickly, inshallah. And then last thing we'll talk about is the promise of Allah, and then we'll go into our group work.
You asking us to talk about ayah 2?
Oh, anything, yeah, that kind of gives you a worldview that kind of helps you shape your mindset or make your mindset stronger on how you view the world around you, or the life around you, or people around you. So an example, let me get you guys started, right? So obviously that's one of the major one in this surah right off the bat, right? Is that mindset of that this life, the purpose of this life is a test. Allah has never promised that, look, if you become Muslim or if you submit, then you won't have any trials, you won't have any tribulations, you won't have any tests, right on Calvin, right? This is a mindset. Look, whatever is happening to me is a test, because someone else can have a different mindset. A mindset would be that, look, if I'm succeeding, if I'm getting promotion, if I'm increasing my business, if I'm increasing my scores, my belts, whatever it is, then that means Allah loves me. That's a wrong mindset, because Allah never said that. Similarly, someone can say, oh, if my life is filled with challenges, that means Allah doesn't love me, right? Or Allah hates me, or what have you. However, Allah is clarifying here that everything is a test. If you have more of what you want, it's a test. And if you have less of what you want, is also a test. So a promotion is a test, 10xing your business is a test, and at the same time, bankruptcy is a test, and losing your job is a test. Getting married is a test, and divorce is a test. It's all different forms of test.
I like the thought of, I'm getting the echoes. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
See if I can. Okay, I was gonna say, as far as the test part, because some of the tests come from you. So being able to analyze and see, is this test coming from Allah, or is this something I burdened myself with and I got tested so I can learn something from it?
Absolutely. Okay, one second.
So it's
So-
kind of, it makes you question, okay, what are the tests and what are the types of tests that Allah testing you by? And would you even recognize that this is a test from Allah?
Mhm. So I would
You
say to
know?
this, I think to build on this, like everything is a test, right?
Mhm.
But I think the way I would approach it, and again, I'm not saying there's one way of doing it, is like what's your input to it, right? Whether it be what were you doing before a result happened, right? Did you make mistakes that you can learn from, right? Because there's definitely an opportunity for growth and what have you. And the same thing happens, like once something happens, right? A result manifests itself, then how would you react to it, right? Because we will be accountable for our intentions and our actions, and our results are in the hands of Allah. Because two people can do similar amount of work, and they may make similar mistakes, or they may have the same type of input, but the results can be different based on what Allah is, how Allah is manifesting the results. But yes, I think from that, this is a very important point, because you could have one extreme where it's like, okay, it's the will of Allah, I don't have to do anything, right? No, but because obviously you have to take responsibility, because sometimes you may be at fault, that brought something on you, right? But you didn't do your due diligence, you were lazy, whatever, right? So you have to also learn from that. That's a great point there.